The shocking truth, were Adam and Eve white? Unveiling race origins at 3 a.m. In the stillness of a moonlit night, when shadows danced and every breeze felt charged with secrets, a gathering storm loomed over the quaint town of Oakwood. Inside a small, dimly lit basement, the flickering light of a single bulb couldn't mask the electrifying tension in the air. Chatters faded into a hush as Tara, a local historian with wild hair and shining eyes, whispered the unthinkable, "What if Adam and Eve weren't white?" The room erupted. Eyes widened, breaths hitched, and heartbeats thudded like thunderclaps. Among the assembled group were people of all backgrounds, yet everyone felt the creeping chill of the unknown that gripped them. Questions piled like an avalanche, suffocating them in intrigue. How did something so fundamental as the creation story fit into the puzzle of race? Tara flipped through ancient texts, yellowed pages of history that smelled faintly like dust and betrayal. There, hidden in faded ink, were claims of other origins, stories of people with skin like mahogany, faces etched with the wisdom of ages. It wasn't just about Adam and Eve, it exposed the cracks in how humanity viewed itself. Outside, the wind howled as if the earth itself was warning them to turn back. But there was no stopping the tide of curiosity now. Whispers turned into an uproar. What if everything we've learned is a lie? A voice shattered the silence, its timbre thick with disbelief. But another voice responded firmly, an unexpected ally, "It's time we dig deeper, no matter how much it hurts." Before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. As Tara's finger traced over a sketch of a sprawling garden, images of struggle, loss, and resilience flooded the room. It wasn't just a history lesson, it became a revelation so startling that sweat broke out on brows. They stepped back, hands trembling, souls unraveled with doubt, for tonight was not just about race. It was about the very essence of humanity carved in the stone of creation itself. Just as the questions grew sharper and the air more oppressive, the basement door creaked open, revealing a figure shrouded in shadows. A stranger, cloaked in darkness, stood outside, peering in with piercing eyes. Looking for the truth? The figure rasped, sending shivers down their spines. What secrets did this mysterious visitor hold? The figure stepped into the basement, cloaked in a thick mist of tension. Faces turned, eyes narrowed. The stranger, their features obscured by the shadows, took a deliberate step forward, the wooden floor creaking ominously beneath their weight. "I know why you're really here," the visitor said, their voice gravelly, yet imbued with a strange command. "You seek answers that challenge everything you thought you knew." The air felt thick, suffocating, as each word lingered like smoke in the already charged atmosphere. A murmur rippled through the crowd as Tara stood her ground, her pulse racing. The stranger's presence was like a lightning bolt, illuminating the basement momentarily. "Who are you?" she demanded, the fire of determination flickering in her eyes. There was a power in her, simmering just beneath the surface. "I'm a seeker, just like you," the cloaked figure replied, revealing just enough of their face to show glinting eyes. "But unlike you, I've found something." With a swift motion, they pulled out a weathered journal from their tattered coat. The leather cover was cracked, signs of age etching deep lines upon its surface. "What's in that?" someone from the back called, trying to break the spell that held them captive. "Answers. Secrets hidden for centuries." The stranger tossed the journal into the center of the table, where it landed with a dull thud that echoed like a gunshot. "It contains truths about our origins, truths that those in power want erased." A woman stepped forward, her brow furrowed with concern. "And how do we know you're not just lying? What proof do you have?" The stranger smiled, yet it didn't reach their eyes. You've read the stories. You know they've all been rewritten, sanitized. But this, they gestured toward the journal, could tell the real tale if you dare to look. Silence descended, sharp and piercing. Tara felt the weight of their stares, each person trembling on the brink of either disbelief or understanding. Was the search for knowledge worth plunging into the dark depths of their own histories? Open it, someone dared, breaking the tension that hung heavy in the air. With trembling fingers, Tara approached the journal, flipping it open to the first page. The text was sharp and angular, an ancient script that spoke of gardens, of creation, of intertwining fates. The words radiated an urgency that gripped her heart. It talks about a lineage that predates history, origins that stretch across continents. The more she read, the deeper the pit formed in her stomach. Shadows whispered truths she never wanted to face. We've been lied to, she whispered in disbelief. Around the room, gasps floated like paper in the wind. A palpable shock surged through the group, waking them from their naive slumber. Fear and curiosity warred beneath the surface. Suddenly, the basement door slammed shut with a thunderous bang. The echo roared through the confines like a breakout alarm. "You're not alone in your search," the stranger declared as the room plunged into chaos. "They're coming for you." Panic surged as the crowd stirred. Who? Who is coming?" Someone shrieked, the stranger's expression darkened. "Those who want you to forget. Those who will stop at nothing to keep the truth buried. You have to decide now, will you dig deeper, or retreat back to illusion?" A collective breath was held. Tara's heart raced as adrenaline coursed through her veins. The path to unraveling this ancient mystery had just opened, but it came with risks and shadows perched at its edges. "What's our choice?" she asked, voice steady but fear clung tightly. The stranger smirked. "I'll guide you, but be warned, the deeper you delve, the more dangerous it will become. And remember, truth can sometimes lead to unimaginable consequences." With that, the promise of revelation hung like a thick fog in the air. Would they embrace the coming storm, or would they flee into the fragile arms of ignorance? The next chapter awaited them ominously, and now, destiny drew close. Outside, the night deepened. What lay ahead was uncharted territory, an abyss waiting to be explored. But as shadows danced and whispered secrets of the past, Tara felt an eerie sense that perhaps the truth was not merely a quest, but a beast ready to rise. Could they truly contain it, or would they become its prey? Tara's eyes darted back to the journal, its pages whispering secrets that felt like a siren's song, luring her closer. The room buzzed with tension, the stranger's words clung to her like cobwebs. Sweat trickled down her back, and a shiver raced along her spine. They had awakened something ancient, but now the question loomed larger than life: where to go from here? "Did you hear that?" a man shouted, his voice trembling. The others nodded, straining to catch the sound. Outside, a slow, deliberate knocking, echoing against the basement door. It was rhythmic, ominous. Cold dread curled in Tara's stomach. "Stay calm," the stranger yelled, raising their hands. But it was too late. Panic ignited like dry grass. Some pushed against each other, seeking escape, while others pressed in closer to hear what secrets lay in that damned journal. "What if we stay?" Tara asked, her own conviction wavering. "What if we actually find out? What if we're meant to know?" She could see flickers of doubt and fear swirling in the crowd. An older woman shook her head violently, her voice quivering. "You don't understand. Truth is dangerous. It destroys." Before Tara could respond, the knocking intensified, more insistent now. It was as if something or someone on the other side was growing impatient. They were watching, waiting. Could the shadows be true? The stranger, face half-shrouded, caught Tara's gaze. Their expression was serious, dark. "We can't linger. Whatever is out there, it knows we're here." As if the air had been charged with electricity, the door bucked violently against its frame, rattling violently. A gasp broke loose from the group, as everyone turned their eyes towards the old wooden guard that felt like the last barrier between them and whatever had been stirred by their reckless curiosity. "Do you really want to know?" The stranger pressed, their own voice slicing through the noise. "Once you open this door, there's no turning back. What we find could unravel everything." Tara inhaled sharply. It was a heavy feeling, threatening to crush her. Should she turn back? Was ignorance really bliss? But then, deep inside, the yearning to unlock those buried truths roared louder than her fear. "I say we face it," she declared, her own voice unwavering now. "We can't be afraid of the past. Take the journal, open it again. Let us see what we find together." One by one, the crowd shifted, murmurs of agreement mixed with the pulse of fear. The stranger motioned for silence, their eyes narrowing as the knocking crescendoed into a chaotic thud, almost demanding entrance. "Very well," said the stranger, stepping back from the group. "But know this, the moment you decide to confront the truth you're inextricably tied to it. It will not be gentle." Tara stepped forward, grasping the journal tightly. With one swift motion, she lifted it toward the crowd. "Let us open it together." She began to read aloud, the room falling into a hush. The words hit like stones, describing an ancient pact, a garden where choice and consequence intertwined, all rooted in a world that had been beautifully flawed. As Tara spoke, the air around them felt thick, alive, the knocking became fervent, echoing the turmoil inside her. Then, without warning, the door burst open. Darkness flooded in, and with it came figures cloaked in shadow. Their faces were obscured, yet their intent was clear, unwavering, ruthless, determined to erase any light that dared to escape the cavernous depths of history. Tara's heart hammered in her chest as the stranger's words sliced through her mind. "They're here for the truth and they won't stop until they have it." The room erupted into chaos as shadows loomed large, and questions spiraled like a cyclone. Were they ready to risk it all? Would they stand united in the face of the unknown? In that moment, Tara saw the path ahead, a trail littered with shadows but glimmers of truth beckoning from the dark. Would courage prevail, or would they be consumed by the depths of their own unraveling? Before she could fully comprehend, a voice from the shadows called out, sharp and chilling. "You've awakened us. Now it's time to reveal who truly reigns over this forgotten legacy." The threat hung heavy in the air, a challenge echoing against the walls. And as Tara stood her ground, one question burned brighter than the rest: how far would they go to finally unearth the truth? The shadows surged into the basement, twisting and writhing like smoke given life. Tara's breath caught in her throat, a mixture of fear and adrenaline strangling her as she braced for the unknown. Whispers slithered through the room, soft yet piercing, wrapping around her mind with an icy grip. "Who are you?" Tara shouted, forcing the words past the rising panic. The figures remained silent, the darkness concealing their intent, but she could feel their presence pushing against the walls of her courage. "Don't engage them," the stranger warned, eyes darting from figure to figure, a visible tension stringing their body tight. "They thrive on fear, on the chaos you bring. Hold your ground." Chaos erupted. As the shadows coalesced into vague forms, they swirled around Tara and her group. A man near the back screamed, his voice rising above the din. "We need to get out now." But what lay outside? What awaited them in the light? Tara shook her head, despair creeping in but determination overpowering. "We can't run. We have the journal. We have the truth. We need to hold on." The shadowy figures paused, their spectral forms shifting, as if torn between worlds. Tara felt the pressure of their gaze as it fell upon her, a weight that dared her to falter. Just then, one of the figures stepped forward, revealing a face hollow and etched with centuries of sorrow. "Truth is not as simple as you think," it rasped, voice like gravel scraping against metal. "What you seek has already claimed lives. It demands payment." "What kind of payment?" Tara's voice trembled, but she swallowed hard, unwilling to show fear. Sweat pooled in her palms, knuckles white around the journal. "What do you want from us?" Your souls are entwined with the past, the figure replied, tilting its head. Each truth unveiled comes with a choice, a sacrifice. Choose wisely. Tara felt the collective hold of the group tighten, a rush of heat and chill as her heart battled her mind. They had awakened this darkness, and now it wanted something from them. Suddenly, it all felt like a mistake. We can find another way. We don't have to bargain with the shadows, shouted the woman who had initially warned them, her voice cracking under the weight. A flicker of hope ignited, but doubt quashed it like a flame in a storm. The shadowed figure chuckled, a sound that sent chills clawing down Tara's spine. You delve into the depths of history, but are you prepared to confront what it holds? You already chose tonight by unwinding the pages. Another howl of wind swept through the basement. Dark figures hung close, pulsating, edging closer, revealing hints of features obscured in shadow. Tara's eyes darted across the room, reading the expressions of her companion's fear, anger, uncertainty, all reflections of her own tumultuous emotion. With a racing heart and shaky voice, she looked at the journal again and then back to the encroaching darkness. If you want a sacrifice, then so be it. But know this, she declared, summoning every ounce of courage within her, we are not afraid of you. We will face the truth together. The air crackled with energy, her words igniting something deep within the blackened forms. For a brief moment, a flicker of light glimmered in the shadows as they faltered, searching, watching. Very well, one of the figures hissed, a whisper like death slipping through the cracks of reality. Let the trials begin. Your resolve will be tested, your bond strained. It starts now. Suddenly, a flash of light erupted from the journal, blinding and fierce. Tara squeezed her eyes shut, her heartbeat thundering in her ears. What could possibly lay ahead? What truths would unravel? Was the sacrifice success, or was it merely the beginning of their descent into darkness? As darkness swallowed the light, the true trials awaited. Would they unravel the legacy of their past, or would they be lost within the shadows forever? The blinding light from the journal began to subside, revealing an even darker reality. When Tara opened her eyes, she found herself still in the basement, but something felt profoundly different. The shadows loomed larger, almost sentient, swirling and expanding as if to envelop them in the darkness. Panic settled over the room, palpable, thickening the air. Tara glanced at her friends, their faces grim and taut with fear. The stranger who had warned them stood rooted, eyes wide, mouth agape. What have you done? He whispered. We chose to confront the truth, Tara replied, clarity rising through her fear. But even as she spoke, an eerie silence cascaded over the basement, swallowing the usual sounds of the house creaks, whispers, the drip of water. Then she heard it, a low, resonating hum that seemed to vibrate through the very marrow of her bones. It rose and fell like the tide of some unseen ocean. Slowly, figures began to emerge clearly from the shadows, their features now unmistakable. They were people, ghostly, translucent specters of those long gone, their faces solemn and eyes hollow, reflecting anguish that transcended time. Tara took a step back, heart pounding. Who are you? The lead figure, a woman with sunken cheeks and vacant eyes, stepped forward, enveloping Tara in an aura of unearthly sorrow. We are the guardians of secrets buried in blood and truth. You seek answers, yet can you bear to uncover the depths? Do you demand sacrifice? Tara's voice faltered as dread washed over her. The air grew heavier around them. Not all sacrifices are of the flesh, the woman mused, a faint echo in her tone. Sometimes, it is the sacrifice of what you believe to be true. As she spoke, Tara felt a strange pulse of energy radiating through the journal, the pages flipping violently as if possessed. Images flickered, the faces of people from different eras, each caught in their moments of despair and loss. With every turn of a page, a cold dread settled in Tara's chest. She could feel the weight of history pressing down on her, the raw reality of souls lost and truths long hidden. Something deep within her churned. What do you want me to see? She murmured, as if pleading to the spirits around her. The shadows began to twist and churn wildly, breaking apart like a violent storm. Tara staggered, grappling with the disorienting sight of swirling memories. Stop. Just tell us what you need. Blood for truth. The figures cried out in unison, their voices mingling, echoing like a death knell in the confined space. Dread coursed through her veins as she realized their meaning. I won't give you that. Tara shouted defiantly, arms tight around the journal as if defending against an expected attack. We won't give anything up that will further this cycle of pain. Yet aware beneath that resolve, a burn of uncertainty ignited throughout the group. The darkness recoiled at their collective defiance, twisting like a lightning storm gathering its strength. Very well, the ghostly woman responded, her voice an unearthly whisper. But know this, the shadows do not forget. You will be tested for the truths you've sought. Suddenly, the ground beneath them began to tremble, cracks slashing through the concrete floor as echoes of screams surrounded them. The shadows shrieked in fury, their spectral forms morphing into a writhing mass, demanding their dues. Stay together. Tara yelled, grabbing a hold of her friends. As the basement crumbled, they realized that letting go of each other could mean losing everything. But were they strong enough? Would they uncover what lay beneath the shadows without succumbing to the darkness? Just as the ground threatened to swallow them, Tara caught sight of a flickering light beyond the chaos, a pathway leading into a deeper unknown. What awaited them within that narrow beam of hope? Would they finally confront the truths they sought, or would they be consumed by the horrors of their past? Tara squeezed her friend's hands tighter, their fingers intertwined in a desperate grip. The basement seemed to convulse beneath them, the air thick with a stench of decay and uncertainty. The flickering light drew her in, like a lighthouse calling to a ship lost in a storm. Just a little further. She shouted, her voice nearly swallowed by the rumble of shifting earth. Behind them, the figures began to wail, their cries resonating through the darkness like the tolling of a twisted bell. What's happening? Jenna gasped, her eyes wide with terror. If we go towards that light, what if it's a trap? We have to try. Was all Tara could think to say. Uncertainty gnawed at her insides, but the thought of what might await them in the light drove her forward. As they moved, the air shimmered, almost like it were alive, vibrating with an energy that felt both enticing and perilous. With every step, the shadows cackled, echoing shrieks that clawed at the back of Tara's mind. She dared to look back, and the sight sent a chill down her spine. The woman who had spoken before was now floating, twisting and contorting, her expressions morphing from sorrow to rage as she pointed a skeletal hand toward them. Flee then. But remember, truth is not so easily escaped. It will find you. Tara's heart raced. Keep going. They rushed toward the light, knowing all too well that retreat wasn't an option. The basement walls cracked and groaned, nostrils flared against the stench of despair. They were swallowed by the brightness, crossing the threshold into another realm. The immediate warmth felt alien, yet oddly comforting compared to the creeping chill of the basement. As their eyes adjusted, they stood in a vast, sunlit meadow, daisies swaying softly in a gentle breeze. Tara blinked, confusion cascading through her. Was this the reward for facing their fears? But as she looked closer, the beauty of the meadow felt tainted. Shadows lingered at the edges, twisting in and out of sight, whispering secrets that clawed at the edges of her consciousness. This place is a facade, said the stranger, standing beside them. We have to seek the truth, or we're trapped in a lie. Right. So what now? Alex asked, looking around as the shadows seemed to inch closer, drawn by their fears. Jenna tugged on Tara's sleeve. It's beautiful here, Tara. But is it real? I don't know. Tara replied, wrestling with the pull of the meadow's tranquility against the urgency of their plight. Maybe the light was a trick, meant to lure us away from the basement. We need to find something solid and anchor. Movement drew her gaze to a stone altar at the center of the meadow, glimmering with intricate runes carved into the surface. What is that? She whispered, fear and curiosity quaking in her voice. With trepidation, they approached, feeling an invisible force urging them closer. As Tara reached out to touch it, the earth trembled beneath them, and a deep rumble echoed from the depths of the shadows. "The truth is written," the old woman's ghostly voice echoed. "What is yours, what is not?" Suddenly, each rune ignited with a pulse of light, illuminating faces from the past, historical figures, anonymous souls, each marked by the same anguish that had haunted the basement. Tara's throat tightened at the sheer weight of the souls trapped in this eternal conflict. "What are you hiding?" she shouted, desperate to wrestle control over the situation. But the shadows surged at the sound, eager and hungry, as if ready to devour her words whole. Then a whisper threaded through her thoughts, familiar and chilling. "Every truth has a price." The ground quaked violently, shifting the light beneath their feet. Would they be swallowed by the darkness, or could they break the cycle and claim the truth that was theirs? In that moment, Tara's mind was flooded with a singular, horrifying thought. What if confronting the truth would mean losing everything they had fought to protect? Tara's fingers trembled as she pulled back from the altar, a sudden chill sweeping through her body. The runes pulsed menacingly, mocking her hesitation. "We can't just stand here," Jenna squeaked, her voice rising with each syllable as the shadows closed in, snapping at their heels like ravenous wolves. "Maybe we can," Alex started, but before he could finish, the ground shook again, sending them sprawling. The altar's light surged, casting eerie shadows across their faces, swirling like stormy clouds. Tara climbed to her feet, heart hammering, desperate to forge a plan. "We need to look deeper, maybe there's something in the runes. Something we can do." As she crouched to examine the carvings, the air thickened with tension, the shadows curling closer, drawn in by their fear like moths to a flame. "Look!" Tara pointed, a jagged rune standing apart from the others. "It's different. It feels alive." "That one?" Jenna whispered, her eyes darting between Tara and the approaching darkness. "What about it?" In an impulsive surge, Tara reached for the glowing rune. As her fingers brushed against its surface, a surge of energy shot through her arm, sending shockwaves through her core. Memories flashed in an overwhelming torrent: a childhood home, laughter, the warmth of the sun, all interspersed with darkness creeping at the corners, shadows lurking, waiting to devour. "What is happening?" Alex shouted, trying to hold Jenna back. "Tara!" The moment her hand connected, the shadows screamed, a sound of pure agony that echoed through the meadow. Tara fell back, gasping, the power surging through her veins, forcing visions into her mind. "The truth, it's connected," she murmured, struggling to maintain her grasp on reality. "It knows us. It knows everything. Don't let it take you." Jenna cried, reaching for Tara's arm but brushing against an overwhelming wall of force. Shadows lashed out, tearing at her sanity with whispers of past regrets and lurking fears. "Fight it." Tara's heart raced, but amidst the chaos, she felt a flicker of hope. "It's showing us our truth. We need to uncover the secrets of our past." The shadows surged forward, clawing at her, eager to pull her back into the abyss. "The price!" Alex yelled above the chaos, his eyes wide with panic. "What's the price?" "Every truth comes at a cost," the ethereal woman's voice whispered again, resonating deep in Tara's soul. "Are you ready to pay?" The altar trembled as the ground below groaned in protest. Tara's voice was resolute, a fierce determination flaring within her. "We have to pay it. Whatever it is, we need to break this cycle." The moment those words left her lips, the shadows froze, and the air crackled with emotional intensity. Bright beams shot from the rune, blinding Tara momentarily. Pain tore through her as an unseen force wrenched at her soul, demanding something she held dear. She gasped as memories flooded forth, every moment of joy, every shred of sorrow closed into a fist and held against her heart. Jenna screamed, "Tara, no!" But the shadows shrieked louder, intensifying the storm around them, threatening to drown them in darkness. Suddenly, Tara felt a weight lift, a splintering realization that she was ready. Ready to shed the burdens she had carried. "I choose truth," she cried out, her voice piercing through the tumult. With that declaration, she let go of everything, her fears, her regrets, everything that had bound her. The shadows recoiled, reveling in her offer, swallowing her words, and then it happened. A visceral surge of light enveloped them, and Tara gasped as the world shifted violently, the meadow splintering away. The shadows writhed, unraveling with the weight of her choice, the kaleidoscope of memories intertwining, revealing connections deeper than she ever imagined, but as the bright reality settled around them, it quickly unraveled into something darker, obscured by the fog of new revelations. "Where are we?" Jenna whispered, fear pulsating through her words. We have to keep going," Tara said, dread clenching her chest. "But the truth isn't just waiting for us, it's already here." The shadows loomed at the edges of the newfound realm, whispering horrors, thrilled at the prospect of what was to come. And in that moment, Tara knew, the battle wasn't over. The truth was just starting to reveal itself, layers peeling back like the skin of an onion, each one more shocking than the last. "Get ready," Tara managed to say, the air thick with anticipation. "We're not done yet, and something wicked is lurking, waiting to strike." And then, a chilling voice echoed through the haze, sending shivers down her spine. "You thought you knew the truth, but that was only the beginning." The air shimmered around them, distorting reality with an unsettling familiarity. Every pulse from the runes became a heartbeat, echoing in sync with the thrumming chaos lurking behind their eyes. Tara could feel it deep in her gut, a presence growing, hungry and wise, caressing her fears before tightening its grip. "Stay close," she urged, her voice trembling as shadows lurked, drawn like predators sensing weakness. Jenna's wide eyes met Tara's, the weight of terror pushing them together as the world they knew unraveled. "What now?" Jenna asked, her voice barely a whisper, laced with dread. Tara scanned their new surroundings. The meadow had transformed into a disorienting labyrinth of twisting paths and swirling mist. Shadowy figures flitted at the corners of her vision, teasing her with faces half-formed, revealing secrets draped in darkness. "We need to push forward, find the center of this madness." But the shadows didn't just linger, they lunged, distracted and rippling with an energy that contorted reality. Alex's face paled. "What if we can't? What if this place is a trap? What choice do we have?" Tara replied, desperation bleeding her determination dry. "We've already paid part of the price, we can't go back now." The ground moaned beneath them, pulsing with memories that surged like a tide of regret. The haunting whispers intensified, unraveling truths that twisted their perception. "You think you know who you are?" A voice sneered, a familiar tone layered with malice. "You're nothing but vessels for the truth that you're terrified of facing." Tara's heart twisted at the familiar cadence. It was her father's voice. She had heard it in dreams, echoing through the years, reminding her of burdens she tried to bury. "No, it can't be. You're not real. You left." "Did I?" The voice taunted, echoing and engulfing her. "Or did you simply forget? Forgetting was your choice. But the truth has a way of clawing its way back, you hear that?" Jenna said, shaking. "It's not just memories. It feels like history. Like it's alive." "Yes." Tara's resolve trembled. "It is alive. Each soul entangled in our reality. This place is nothing without us." The shadows thickened, revealing the faces of forgotten loved ones, their mouths moving in silent screams. Tara felt the pulse of possibility. If we can confront our truths, maybe we can change this cycle. Can we even handle that? Alex challenged, battling against his fear. The only way out is through, Tara pressed, stepping forward into the swirling dread. We must face what haunted us before it consumes us now. But as they moved deeper, the lurking horrors began to solidify. Dark shapes hovered so close she could almost touch them, each wreathed in painful familiarity. Tara could feel her throat tightening, the lump of fear and courage mixing impossible within her. "Every truth comes with a cost," the voice echoed again, swirling like smoke surrounding them. "Will you pay it again?" "I will," Tara declared, digging her fingernails into her palms, feeling the warmth of her blood coalesce with the pain. No more running. Then witness what lies ahead, the shadows whispered, coiling around her, drawing her closer to the heart of the storm. As the shadows pulsed and shifted, the world cracked open, revealing searing light and the faces of those she had lost. Each one more radiant than the last, yet shadowed by broken promises. Their eyes reflected sorrow, betrayal, and an agonizing truth that begged to be uncovered. Tara. Jenna gasped, drawn to the rising tide of memories. But before she could reach her, a piercing scream shattered the silence. It sliced through the heavy air, vibrating like a bitter wind, freezing Tara in place. No! She screamed, racing to shield her friends as the shadows clawed fiercely, threatening to rip them apart. The shadows swelled, and the echoes howled, whispering promises and threats intertwined until the noise was unbearable. You can't escape. Face it. Tara screamed, her voice rising above the chaos. Face what you've hidden. We're not afraid. And then, in a blinding flash of light, a figure emerged from the chaos, a dark silhouette against blinding rays. The air became electric, sparking with the weight of revelation. You think you've discovered the truth? It asked, voice deep and resonant. But your journey is only just beginning. Tara's heart raced as the silhouette stepped forward, revealing a face all too familiar yet twisted by shadows. Confusion reigned as the chilling realization sunk in. What have you done? But the shadow merely laughed, a sound reverberating with darkness, echoing the initiation of a new battle. As Tara prepared to face this unsettling figure from her past, fear clawing at her heart, one question thundered through her mind. What other truths lie buried in the shadows? The shadows seemed to breathe, alive with malicious intent. Tara felt them wrap around her, squeezing tight, drawing her towards the figure that loomed ever closer. Jenna clutched her arm, nails digging into her skin, but Tara didn't flinch. The pain grounded her, anchoring her to the moment, reminding her of the stakes. Who are you? She demanded, her voice steadier than the tremor in her heart. The figure stood tall, its features still obscured by the gloom swirling around its body, but Tara could sense the darkness hugging it like a shroud, whispering secrets lost in time. Your past, the figure replied, the words dripping like honey dipped in poison. And you, my dear Tara, are but a shadow of what you were meant to become. Stop this, Jenna pleaded, her voice trembling, fear palpable as she recoiled. You're not real. Oh, but I am, the figure replied, and in that instant, the shadows lifted just enough for Tara to see a glint of recognition in its eyes, a cruel reminder of her father's gaze, now twisted by darkness. I have always been here, waiting for you to confront your truths. Tara's heart hammered against her ribcage, memories bubbling to the surface. Hadn't she buried those feelings deep enough? The shame, the regret, hadn't she tried to forget? You don't control me. She shouted defiantly. Control. It laughed, a brittle sound that tore through the stillness. Control is an illusion. Your fears fuel my existence. Until you acknowledge them, I will thrive in the chaos of your mind. As if mocking her resolve, the shadows shifted, and the ground beneath her cracked open, revealing glimpses of her past, a lost playground, laughter intertwined with tears, faces she loved now twisted in despair. What do you want from me? She cried, feeling tears sting her eyes, blurring the ever-present darkness. To remember, the figure said, voice low and insidious. To embrace the pain. Only then can the cycle end, or will you let your fears devour you? The haunting truth echoed around them. Each step Tara took felt heavier, dragging her closer to the chasm of dread that beckoned. You're a lie. A manipulation. She spat, glancing at Jenna and Alex, whose fear mirrored her own. Yet, deep inside her, a flicker of anger ignited against the dark figure before her. You think so? The figure snarled, its form shifting, becoming more defined, blurring the lines of its humanity and monstrosity. Look around you. The daughter hiding from the father, the girl desperate to be free, yet chained to her past. A familiar cycle born from broken trust. With each word, Tara felt the truth's weight suffocating her. Those feelings, the echoes of betrayal and loss, her father's departure made flesh. "You're wrong," she shouted, defiance boiling in her veins. "I can break free." But the figure loomed larger, shadows reaching out with claw-like fingers. "It won't be that simple, Tara. Embrace me, and you'll gain the strength you've needed. Reject me, and the darkness will consume everyone you hold dear." Jenna stepped forward, her voice trembling but firm. "Tara, we can do this together. Remember who we are." The shadows recoiled slightly at Jenna's words, a flicker of doubt. Tara took a step back, uncertainty creeping in. What if their unity wasn't enough against the encroaching darkness? Before she could finish, the figure lunged forward, igniting the shadows into a swirling storm of whispers and screams. "Dare you defy your fate?" "No!" Tara shouted, forcing herself to stand tall as fear clawed at her thoughts. Suddenly, everything shifted. The air thickened, and the ground trembled violently beneath their feet. "Stand your ground," Alex urged, determination lacing his voice as he positioned himself protectively in front of the girls, but Tara's breath hitched, eyes wide as the world around them began to collapse in on itself, shadows spiraling into a vortex of hellish screams. "Admit it!" The figure cried out, twisting within the shadows, its face almost visible now. "You crave the truth, yet you're terrified of who you might become." Tara's thoughts raced. The darkness around her pulsed with energy, inviting her to step closer. And just like that, she understood wait. She shouted, the revelation igniting a spark. "What if?" The storm quieted, momentarily stunned, giving the trio a precious moment of clarity. They glanced at each other, realization dawning. With their hands linked, Tara spoke, "We are stronger than our shadows. Together, we choose our path." But the figure's laughter, the sound echoed loudly, filled with pain and mockery. "You think you can fight me? I am your truth." As the shadows surged forward, aiming to tear them apart, Tara felt the ground beneath her shift. What lay ahead was unknown, but her heart beat with resolve. "Then let's discover it together." This newfound strength surged through her, but the figure hesitated, its confidence waning for the first time. But would it be enough? As the shadow surged through the air and silence fell once more, the question lingered, growing heavier. What would Tara uncover if she dared to confront her deepest fear? The darkness pressed in around them, but Tara felt an igniting spark of hope within her as she clung to her friends. Their united front gave her strength against the shadowy figure taunting her with the echoes of her past. "We know the truth is complex, and we won't be afraid of facing whatever you throw our way," she declared, feeling the warmth of their shared resolve pooling like a steady fire in her chest. The figure twisted, its face flickering with emotions ranging from sly pleasure to desperation. "You think unity will shield you from the storm? The truth demands sacrifice, and your connection to one another is but a fragile thread in this abyss. I want to let you come between us." Tara shouted back, eyes blazing as she felt the weight of her words. "We will confront our truths, including the hurt that binds us all." In that moment, the energy pulsed, radiating from her like a beacon of defiance. The ground shuddered beneath them, and the shadows recoiled slightly, as though their power was no longer absolute. "Let us pull the thread of the past," Jenna urged, squeezing Tara's hand. "Together, we can unravel the lies that tether us to fear." With one swift motion, Tara thrust her hands forward, reaching toward the figure, her voice ringing with authority. "We are willing to lay bare our hearts. Show us what lies beneath this darkness." Suddenly, an ear-splitting shriek cut through the air as the shadows swarmed in, swirling around them like tormented souls in a storm. Tara clenched her eyes shut, heart pounding, but her friends held strong. One by one, they called forth their hidden fears, the abandonment, the guilt, the endless cycle of pain, and in turn, shared their most painful truths. "I lost my hope the day I lost you," Jenna cried, tears streaming down her flushed cheeks, but alongside her sorrow was an undeniable strength. I won't let that keep me bound. I feared I was unworthy of love, but I won't hide from that any longer. Alex joined in, his voice trembling but firm. The moment their truths merged, the very air around them pulsated with vibrancy. The shadows screeched, grasping at the light that was unraveling with each admission laid bare. Tara felt the shift within her, the courage swelling and expanding like the dawn breaking on a dark horizon. No more secrets. No more fear. The shadows tried to drown them out, but Tara felt invincible as they pressed forward, unwavering in solidarity. We choose love. We choose hope. We choose the light. Then it happened. The shadows recoiled violently as a beam of brilliant light burst forth from each of them, a radiant display of connection and forgiveness that pushed back against the darkness. The figure howled, a mix of rage and disbelief, as the light enveloped their forms, banishing the remnants of their anxieties. No. You're supposed to be mine to manipulate. It bellowed, contorting as the light swallowed it whole, leaving echoes of its rage behind. Tara's heart raced as the shadows dissipated, exposing a path forward unlike any they had seen before. The ground beneath them shifted and stabilized, revealing lush greenery and colors brighter than any dream. Breathe, blink, they had done it. They were free. I can't believe we faced that and survived, Alex said, panting, disbelief etched across his face. We weren't alone, Jenna replied, her gaze shifting to Tara, who felt tears of relief welling up. We did this together, and it will always lead us toward the truth. Tara smiled, a weight lifting from her chest. We're never alone again. We can rewrite the story together. As laced fingers and connected hearts began to walk that elusive path woven with new beginnings, they locked eyes with one another, each feeling the glow of hope. They were bound not by their past, but by their intent to forge a future illuminated by truth and love, and in that moment of shared silence beneath the sunlit sky, Tara felt the profound stirrings of freedom. Anything was possible now, the journey wasn't over, she realized. It was just the beginning, but before she could even think of the next steps, a realization washed over her. This was their legacy. Their ability to confront what had held them back and emerge victorious. They could weather whatever storms lie ahead, stronger than ever. As they began to walk into that new world together, Tara shouted, "Let us keep uncovering our truths. This is just the start. We owe it to ourselves and others." Around her, echoes of affirmation rippled, a chorus of voices intertwining. They charged ahead, hand in hand, ready for whatever adventures lay in store, with their voices echoing beneath the endless sky. One thing was clear. They had faced the shadows, they had faced themselves, and together they were unstoppable. You need to subscribe now so you don't miss the next incredible journey as they uncover more truths that challenge everything we know. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and show your support. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories on this journey. We want to hear from you. And remember, share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this amazing conclusion and join our growing community. This is the moment to show your support and be part of our story. Don't wait even one more second to share.